Okay, Bevan, so we've touched base about your illness that you currently with autoimmune.
Yep.
So basically, let's go to the issues that you're having difficulty having here.
Yeah, well, when I got sick, I was unaware of any law changes or was unaware of just how little we're allowed to access over here. Being a New Zealander, even if I had have taken out something like health insurance or anything like that, a lot of that wouldn't have even covered what's wrong with me. Get hit by a car, broken legs and stuff like that, yeah, that's covered. But when you get sick with an illness, especially one that there's no cure for, there's only prevention, I think it is. So I started realising that there is no help here for us. Like even trying to get just a little bit of money so that my children have got something to eat when they come in.
So basically what's actually happening is you don't, because of your illness, obviously you don't qualify for any government assistance here.
No.
So have you been homeless? What's the actual...
Oh yeah, I've been homeless a few times, lived in my car. When I first came over to Perth about 4 years ago, I think the first 6 months I was over here, I was living down the road at a truck stop. It was just lucky that I was driving a truck at the time and I was just sleeping in that. So that gave me somewhere to, sleep during the days and that and nights.
So do you have any support here at all?
No. It's hard to say this, but no financial support at all. That's the biggest thing, because we all need a roof over our head and food in our stomach, and my kids like to come to Dad's on the weekends, but I've never had any assistance since I've been here.
So I'm just trying to get an understanding of this. So you've been in and out of hospital. You've got
a number of times.
You've got 2 Australian children.
Three
3 Australian children. Basically, your option to go back to New Zealand
is nil. I would rather sleep under a bridge than leave my children, because I know my ex-partner will not allow or will stop any such thing as me taking the children back to New Zealand. So leaving Australia is just not an option. What am I going to do? Am I going to like die here in Australia and struggle and be unhappy, but at least still have my children? Or am I going to go back to New Zealand, not have my children, and be just as unhappy over there? I know that I can get help if I do go back to New Zealand, but I'm sorry, I just love my kids. That's pretty much the bottom line. My children are what I've got left in this world, and I don't want to see them without a dad, even though that is a reality that I have to accept that, yeah, I are going to die a lot sooner than I would have liked to have, but that's just a reality that I've come to terms with. It'd just be nice to be able to relax and enjoy the time that I have left, so I can spend it with my children and not have all the stress and strain and worry and panic, and because that doesn't do anybody's health any good at all. Being under so much stress all the time, which is a bad thing for me, for my condition, is to be under stress. It's not good. You've got to be able to kick back and relax. But
so basically, when you get some sort of ounce of stress, you're back in hospital again?
If I let it go too far, yes, which is what I try to do. I last probably about 4 months at a job until my body starts going, had enough again, start slowing down. But work's work. You can't, you get up in the morning, you go to work. It's what you have to do, and it's just getting too much. I've had enough. I've had enough of trying to struggle through this. You know, it's unfair on my children. You know, they are missing out because of it.
What about medical cost?
Well, still under the agreement between New Zealand and Australia is that I do get public health, and I have to say that the public health help that I have had since being in Australia has been marvellous. I can't say anything about the treatment and doctors and that I've had since I've been in Australia. They've been absolutely great, you know.
So basically you call Australia home?
Yes. I live in Australia. I still call New Zealand home. But yes, I live in Australia, yes.
So what we're going to try and work out is that you're obviously having difficulties getting difficulties with the government system in terms of assistance. So we're actually assisting and seeing what we can actually do to support you with that.
Yep.
And then there's also other avenues of financial support. Is that with family?
Well, my mother and her partner at the moment are doing everything that they can to try and at least keep my roof over my head by having my rent paid, which means that they've, you know, mortgaged their house. My mother does a scrapbooking classes back in New Zealand with some friends of hers, and they put together all these classes, and they go to fairs and have stalls and stands and that to try and raise a bit of money, you know, for me, which is, you know, I'm really thankful for them for that. That's pretty amazing what my mum's been doing.
Are they raising, have you got some sort of fund that...
Oh, my mother started up a fund in New Zealand called, I think it's the Bevan Fund. And so, hey, if there's anyone out there who wants to, you know, chuck a loaf of bread on my table, feel free. It's, you know, I'm not asking for $1 million. It's not what I want. I don't want to live like a rich person. I just want to be comfortable and enjoy the rest of the time that I've got and be comfortable with my kids. That's, you know, I think that's not too much to ask for, you know, in life, you know. But I just seem to just keep getting these doors closing in my face all the time from, you know, bureaucratical red tape, politicians, government organisations just don't seem to... I don't know whether they don't care. I think there is a level of care factor there that they do, but it just seems like it's too hard basket for them. It's like no one in New Zealand won't help me because they say I'm an Australian resident, and Australia won't help me because they say that I'm not an Australian citizen. So I feel like I'm floating in the middle of the Tasman Sea somewhere, you know.
Though your children are Australian? My
children are Australian citizens, yes. They were, their mother's Australian. I met her when I came here, and the children are Australian citizens, Australian passports, but they still won't do anything to at least give me something to help the children out. You know, if I can get enough just to help the children out, hey, that's fine. I can struggle and scrape and, you know, go find a bit of labouring work somewhere or something, you know, which is getting more difficult now because I've got 3 hernias as well, which cannot be operated on because of my condition. I have lost the additive that's in your blood that stops you from bleeding when you cut yourself and that type of thing. So I'm too high risk to be operated on because
Therefore
of fear of bleeding out
high
faster.
Risk out in employment industry, so that's fine. So you have a specialist that assists your condition while you're here?
Yes.
Okay, well Bevan, is there anything else you want to share with everyone out there, or maybe give them some sort of awareness?
Yeah, I'd just like other Kiwis out there just to be very careful about how you go about not so much coming over here. Hey, look, this is a great place. It's a good place to come. It's a good place to live. I've really got nothing else bad to say about the place. But just be very aware and cross your T's and dot all your I's. I was under no I had absolutely no idea that any of this could happen to somebody, you know, especially in a country like Australia or New Zealand, where, you know, we're not a third world country. You know, we're a pretty well off little place down here in our part of the Pacific Ocean. You know, it's a nice little spot down here, but there's just a lot of things that just seem to get in the way that are quite difficult to understand. So I'd just like people to be very aware, even when you're taking out your health insurance, medical insurance, travel insurance, just ask a lot of questions before you end up paying the money, because there's a lot of people over here that have come over here as well, who have taken out, you know, what they thought was their level of cover to do this, that and the other thing, and they've either got sick like me or had an accident and just been left because, oh, sorry, your insurance didn't cover that. So people have to be very, very, very careful about how they go about,
Absolutely.
you know, about living here. Coming here for a holiday and that type of thing, you know, your holiday insurance and that type of thing, that's easy enough done. But if you're coming over here to live for an extended period of time, just be very, very careful that you are not entitled at this present time, unless we can all change that, to have any government assistance, whether it's from Australia or from where you lived back home in New Zealand.
Absolutely. I've got to say, Bevan, from the first day that I met you, I was gobsmacked to hear what you've been going through, and for so many years too. And I'm aware that, you know, before you even were unwell, life was fantastic for you.
Oh, it was great, you know. I had good employment. Okay, you know, not everyone's going to say that their partner's the most perfect person in the world, but we got by. You know, I had a nice car, we were living in a nice house, had a motorbike, I was doing all the things, you know, I could take my kids out in the truck with me when I was driving. I was really having a good time, and then all of a sudden it just come crashing down in the space of about a week. And that was it. Like, there was, you know, I had no even idea that anything was even wrong with me. Just in 1 week I went from, you know, jumping around, being happy, to laying in a hospital bed, not being able to move.
Oh, look, I believe, you know, when I came and visited you in hospital, which was only last week, I think it was.
Last week, yes, yeah. Thank you.
And like the Sunday I had seen you, you were 100, well not 100%, but you know, you were like you are now. And then when I saw you in hospital, I've got to be honest with you, when I left I was very, very emotional. I was upset. I just wanted to help, you know, see what I can do to help you, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. So
yeah,
my heart goes out to you.
It does come on very quickly.
And I had I was blessed to actually meet your children.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They are absolutely lovely, and I just wanted to thank you for, you know, sharing this with us.
That's all right.
And we just want to see what we can do.
I just hope it just raises a bit of awareness for, you know, people out there. You know, I'm really thankful for Iwi and Oz for jumping on and seeing what they can do to try and help me. It's very, very difficult to try and do it on your own. On your own, you walk into a government department, you might as well walk back out again, unless you've got a mountain of paperwork, a pocket full of money, and somebody standing behind you. There's not really a lot that you can actually do, but I'm hoping that with the help of iwi in Australia, and maybe if we can get some of our own politicians back home in New Zealand to, you know, stand up and, you know,
absolutely
help out your fellow Kiwis. You know, it's the right thing to do. It's the humane thing to do. Absolutely. You know, and I'm just hoping that if everything works out with me and it works out fine, or I can get to where I can get to, where I can be, you know, levelled out a little bit, that, hey, if either this helps somebody or I can help somebody, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you, Bevan.
It's all right. Cool.
Appreciate this.
Iwi and Oz.